Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're joining for the first time, hello there. My name is Lois and today we're going to be learning how to sew these shorts. Let's go. So in my previous video, we drafted out the pattern. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out now. So to start sewing, you'll be needing your fabric of choice. I'm using this Ankara fabric. I have about 3 yards left. So to start with, I'm going to be transferring my patterns to fabric, and I have folded this fabric in two. Now I'm going to place the pattern on it this way. But before I cut out the pattern, I want to leave about 3 inches for the hemming allowance on these shorts. So I'm just going to measure 3 inches and then connect the points together and rule a straight line. So once that is done, I'm going to take my pattern and place it this way on that line that we ruled, and then pin the pattern to the fabric and then cut it also. So while cutting the pattern, remember to leave about half an inch for seam allowance. And now we're done with cutting out the front pattern. Now repeat the same thing we did for the front. Leave about 3 inches for the hem allowance and then cut out the pattern just like you did for the front, while leaving half an inch as seam allowance. And we are done with cutting our front and back patterns. This is how yours should look like. Now I want to cut out pockets for the front pattern, and to do that I'm just going to be measuring 3 inches from the side like this, and the depth of the pocket will be 7 inches. So just connect that in a curve or in a straight line if you wish, but I want mine to be a curve like this, and then I'm just going to cut that out. So once that is done, I'm going to grab a piece of fabric for the pockets. I folded it in two, and then from the top I'm going to be measuring 10 inches for the depth of my pockets. So I'm just going to mark that there and then cut it out. So now you open it up this way, and then on just one side I'm going to place that front pattern that we cut out. The side of the front pattern, place it on the pockets like this, or you can just do it the other way. Just make sure it's on top like this, and then cut out that curve that we made on the front pattern. And once that is done, you just cut through the fabric like this. So by the time you join the pockets to the shirt, this is how it's supposed to look like. And that is it for the pocket for this shirt. Now I want my shirt to have a zipper fly, and to do that I'm going to be cutting about 2 different pieces of fabric, and the length will be 9 inches. So we're going to cut the first one length 9 inches and the width of 2.5 inches on fold. I'm just going to cut the first one out like this. One is going to be straight and one is going to be curved. So this is the straight one we are cutting out, and we cut the other one that is going to be curved. So just do that. So we are done with cutting out the pieces of fabric, and now I'm just going to make a curve on one of them like this and cut it out. So that is it for the zipper fly, and it's time to join it to the front pattern. And to do that, we are going to either choose if you want it to be on the left or the right hand side of the front pattern, but for me I want mine to be on the left hand side. So now I'm going to take that curved piece of fabric that we cut earlier and I'm going to be sewing it, that is the straight side of it, to the front pattern. And I'm going to be sewing about 7.5 inches. The length of my zip is 8.5 inches, but I'm using 7.5, and I'm just going to stitch that together with the front pattern. So just watch closely how I'm doing. After stitching it, I'm also going to top stitch it. So this is how it should look like once you're done. I have top stitched it also, so by the time you fold it, it is going to look this way. You can see the curved part is at the other place. So to fix the zip, I'm going to be placing the zip on top and then stitch it on that curved part, and this is how it looks like after stitching. Now I'm just going to open up the zipper and then join the other side, that is the right hand side of the front pattern. I'm going to be stitching the zip on it first. So the same length we used to stitch the other one is the same length we'll be using. I'm just going to use my chalk to mark that. Take it to the machine and then stitch it together. And once that is done, we are going to be placing that other piece of fabric that we cut out. I'm going to be placing it under it. So just watch closely how I'm doing. First, I want to close off the rough edges, so I'm just going to sew it round. So once that is done, this is how it looks like, and now you're just going to place that under that zip. So just watch closely. Just place it under like this and then pin it together. So once you're done pinning, I'm just going to stitch it straight all the way to that 7.5 inches. I'm just going to mark that there and then stitch it. Just top stitch it nicely. And once that is done, this is how it should look like. You can see it's coming together nicely already. So if you zip it up, this is how it looks. And then the remaining part there, that is towards the crotch, I'm going to stitch it together. So just watch closely what I'm going to do. Here I'm pinning the zipper area together, and after doing that, I'm just going to flip it over, and then you see the remaining part that has not been joined. So what I'm going to do here is to start joining from where the stitch ends and then join it to the end. I have done that, and this is what it looks like. Now I want to top stitch the curved part, that is the zipper part. I want to top stitch it. You know, on your shorts or on your pants, there's usually a curved stitch on the zipper fly. So I want to do that, and I'm going to use my chalk to mark where I want to top stitch. Now note, we are only top stitching the curved part, that zipper fly that we cut. We are only top stitching the curved part. So you're going to flip it over to the back and then remove the straight parts. Just pin it together with the fabric for now. So after pinning, you're just going to flip it over and then top stitch that curved part. So I'm just using my chalk to highlight the line so you can see. I'm just going to top stitch it and then stitch that joining that we made. We're going to top stitch it all the way to the crotch. So just watch closely how I'm doing. And once you're done with the top stitching, I'm just going to flip it over and unpin that other zipper fly we pinned. And now I'm going to join it to the curved part like this and then just sew a straight line. After that is done, this is what our zipper looks like. You can see it looks all good and all nice. This is how yours should look like also. Now it's time to fix the pockets on the shorts, and to do that, we're going to get the pocket pattern. Just open it up like this and then take the right side. We're going to be placing it right side to right side on the front pattern and then stitch that curve round. After stitching, you know what we do to curved areas here? Just clip it like this, flip it over to the front and then top stitch it again. So after top stitching, this is what it should look like. Now I'm going to like lace it together like this and then join the end. So just watch closely. We're just going to stitch the end, just a straight stitch like this. I am done with that, and as you can see the pocket is coming together real nice. So the next thing to do now is to top stitch the side and the top also. So just do that and repeat the same process we did for the other part, and this is what you should have once that is done. You can see our pocket is ready and it's coming together. So now the next thing to do is to use my bias to cover that rough edge. So I'm going to do that. I forgot to fix my dart at the front pattern, so I'm going to do that also. And after doing that, I've joined my back pattern together, and as you can see it's much wider than the front one. So I'm going to be placing that on the back pattern, and from the middle I'm going to be measuring 4.5 inches, and then the length of the dart is going to be 4 inches. So just measure that. By the time you join it, it's going to be 4 inches for the width of the dart. So just measure 4.5 inches and 4 inches as the length of the dart, and then stitch it. So once that is done, this is what we have, and by the time you measure the darts, you can see it's up to 4 inches. So make sure yours is up to that. Now I'm going to be placing the front pattern on top of it like this, and make sure the midpoint is facing the midpoint. That is, the midpoint in front is facing the midpoint at the back. Now I'm going to be shaping this short, and at the waist there we have 20 inches on the back pattern and my waist is 32, and at the front pattern it is much more lesser than that. We have about 18 inches in front. So yeah, it's okay as the back is much wider than the front one, because the back side is much wider. So I'm just going to be shaping about 2 inches on the waist, and then for the hips there I'm just going to be using 1 inch. I came down by 8 inches, and at the hips there we have about 24 inches, that is 48. I'm going to be using 1 inch on each side and all the way down. So just shape your shorts according to your own preference. I wanted mine to be fitted, but it can make yours much free. And after shaping, this is what my own looks like. I actually used 1 inch for the waist instead of 2, and I have hemmed the down part of the shorts. So now it's time to shape the remaining part, that is the inseam. And to do that, I'm going to be placing the crotch like this. Make sure it's facing each other and then pin it together. And once you've pinned it, just place the remaining piece like this together. Make sure it's equal. It is okay if you have allowance. The bigger part is always at the back, so it's okay there's allowance. You can see I have allowance there on mine. So now you're just going to put in your thigh and your knee measurements. My knee measurement is 21 inches, but I'm going to be using 22 inches, and 22 divided by 2 would give me 11 inches. So I'm going to be placing 11 inches there and then mark it. And on my thigh is 27, but I'm using 28 inches. What we have there in total is about 14.5 inches. So I'm going to be using 14 inches, and I'm just going to mark that there and then connect the points together. Do the same for the other side. Now stitch them, and after stitching, this is what you should have. You can see our shorts are looking nice already, and you can see the allowance there. It is normal to be like this. You can also see the crotch is longer and the back part is much longer than the front. So now it's time to do the waistband, and to do that we're going to be measuring what we have there on the waist round. So mine is about 38.25 inches for the round measurement of my waist, and that is what I'm going to be working with for the waistband. So take a piece of fabric and make sure it's folded in two, and then measure half of 38.25. The figure there would give me about 19.25 or so. So just place it there in the middle on the midpoint like this, and then mark that 19.25. Now I want the width of the waistband to be about 2 inches, so I'm going to be using 2.5 inches. Half inch is for my seam allowance, so I'm marking that there, 2.5 inches, and I'm going to connect it together in a straight line. Now, one thing to note when cutting waistband for shorts or for pants is it is not straight, this is actually curved. So to make that curve, I'm going to be measuring half of this 19.25 again. That is like the quarter of that 38.25. And what we have there is about 9.5 inches or 9.75 inches. I think so, yeah, 9.75 inches. So I'm just going to mark the midpoint there. And now I'm going to come up by 1 inch. And then from the down part, we're going to come up by 1 inch also. And we're going to be connecting it to that midpoint, that 9.75 inches. So just connect that part, connect it to it. Once you're done with this is what it should look like. You can see it's curved. You can use your curve ruler to do this. And now it's time to cut. Make sure you leave about half an inch seam allowance. And after cutting, this is what you should have. You're cutting it to double, and then iron stay or soft gum stay on it. After doing all that, this is what I have. I've also gone ahead to join and top stitch the top of the waistband. I've also sewn a long rope for the belt holders, and I'm going to be cutting it 4 inches into 5 places for my belt holders, and this is what I have. Now I'm going to be placing those belt holders on the front darts, on the sides, and then on the midpoint of the back joining. So I'm just going to pin it together, pin it in place first. So after pinning it round, we are going to place the waistband like this. Fold it first and then place it on top of the shirt like this. We're going to pin it first so it doesn't move. And what you're going to do is to join it round. So just do that. And after joining, this is what it looks like. The remaining edge, I've used my bias to turn the rough edge. And the next thing to do is to fold it this way and top stitch that seam that we did. Just top stitch it, and this is what it should look like. See how neat it looks like. This is how yours should look like also, and the inside also looks neat. This is what you want to do for yours. And then the belt holders, you're going to top stitch it also. Do it round, and once that is done, you can either add button or press button for yours, or even a hook. This is how it looks like after I'm done top stitching mine. I'm going to be using press button for my own fastening. You can choose whatever fastening you want for yours, and this is how it looks like when I wear the shorts. You can see how fitting it looks. So nice, and it's so free on the crotch area. I can move around very freely. I really enjoyed the process of making this short, and I hope you did too. Till my next video, I want you to stay healthy, stay safe, stay jiggy, and have a great day. Bye!